Thank you. During my time studying in the US, I lived a relatively poor life. Every day I worked 3 hours on campus. In the summer, in the scorching summer heat, I often tended the campus gardens and mowed the grass. The university president had a large house on campus with a garden size of baseball stadium, right in the middle of it. While tending the garden, I was incredibly thirsty. Working 8 hours every day that summer, my body was worn out, utterly exhausted. That day, I truly thought I was going to die. It was then I spotted large wild apple tree. Without thinking, I bit that wild apple. And as I ate it, I felt the apple's moisture rush into my body, and then instantly I was revived. It was a moment when I learned the precious of life, how we humans are sustained from such a small apple. I felt completely satisfied, both physically and mentally. Perhaps you've all experienced extreme thirst, like me. This morning, I want us to consider the water of life, the living water of life, living water that Christ gives. Speaking water, it reminds me of the recent extreme weather in Japan. From October of last year to around March, there was little rain in Japan. This summer, too, water shortage will likely continue. Without water, nothing can survive. The same is true for humans. This is a physical matter. Talking about water again, in 1990s, water began to be sold in plastic bottles. This was unthinkable before that, in my age. Now we live in an era where we buy water, a bottle of water, about 150 yen. While drinking water is important for our physical health, there's actually more important than drinking water. That is spiritual water. Isn't it fair to say the world today is a spiritual desert? Around the world, people's hearts are hungry and thirsty. Everyone desires an oasis for their heart, a place where their heart is fulfilled. Many people feel, for some reason, they can't quite explain what's wrong with me. Something is missing. Their hearts are troubled. Because they don't know the cause or how to solve it, people tried different things. Some people drink alcohol, other people gamble or immerse themselves in work, or dedicate their lives to raising children. That means children's happiness is their own happiness. Or their relationships with their friends their support system. Or they try to make money from stocks to buy expensive cars. So everyone does different things to gain their own sense of satisfaction. However, like rubber, they always return to their original state. This desert-like state is nothing new. Since ancient times, anyone who tries to live away from God will suffer this torment, human indicament. This is an eternal truth throughout history and across cultures. In fact, 3,000 years ago, in ancient Israel, there was a man who felt everything was meaningless. That man was Solomon, the king of Israel. He possessed treasures that others envied, but something in his heart was not at peace. Let's read Ecclesiastes chapter 2, 3 to 4, and 8, 11. I searched with my heart how to cheer my body with wine, my heart still guiding me with wisdom, and how to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was good for the children of men to do under heaven during the few days of their life. I made great works. I built houses and planted vineyards for myself. Verse 8, I also gathered for myself silver and gold and the treasure of kings and provinces. I got singers, both men and women, many concubines, the delight of sons of men. So I became great and surpassed all who were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with me, and whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. I kept my heart from no pleasure, for my heart found pleasure in all my toil, and this was my reward for all my toil. Then I considered all that my hands had done, and the toil I had expended in doing it. Behold, all was vanity, and the striving after wind, and there was nothing to be gained under the sun. Solomon acquired everything he desired, yet his life itself was empty. He could have enjoyed a rosy life. The more money he had, the emptier he became. In reality, those who try to live apart from God, especially those who live seriously, will inevitably experience this emptiness. They become exhausted. They carry a heavy burden in their hearts. They begin to feel that there is no purpose in life. The more seriously one contemplates life like Solomon, the more confused they become. Those who cannot find meaning in life, those who truly contemplate life, push themselves to the brink. From what I know, such people end their own lives. For example, Socrates, in 16th century BC, 5th century BC in Greece. American novelist Hemingway, and some more Japanese writers. They ended their lives because they didn't find the meaning in their lives. No purpose. No purpose. Because they lived apart from God. How does sin tire and corrode our hearts? It's like riding a broken bicycle. It's heavy. No matter how hard you pedal, you barely move. It's as if there's weight attached to the bicycle. It's so heavy. Imagine good swimmers try to swim in the ocean. Now then imagine seaweed clinging to their legs and arms and body everywhere. Entire body. Even the most skilled swimmer, an Olympic athlete, wouldn't be able to swim properly. They even be drowned. Sin interferes with our lives in the same way. It makes us spin our wheels. This is true even for Christians. If we fall back into sin, we spin our wheels in the same way. Makes us tired. No matter how hard we try, we only end up exhausted. But Christ promises us to give us the water of life. What kind of life? What kind of water is this? It promises that we'll never go hungry or thirsty. In this passage, Jesus says, this water of life works within the human heart, becoming a spring that fills the soul. A new Christian might think, how does it work within the heart and become a spring that fills the soul? 30 years ago, a new Christian in another congregation told me this. This is a true story. I became Christian. They say a fountain of life springs up in your heart, but I don't feel anything. In fact, since I became Christian, I've become more aware of my sins. I'm even more exhausted. I had felt more at ease before I became Christian, because I didn't feel sin. It was easy life. Now I'm more tired. Isn't that strange? She honestly told me this. Yes, it was certainly strange. Something was wrong. Another person posted following online. Being a Christian means you have to do so many things. It's incredibly busy. They tell you to do something for the church. Even that is enough to make me sick. If you can't be saved unless you do church service, then that contradicts what the pastor said in the beginning. I thought I can be saved by the grace of God. That is fake, he wrote. This was perfectly reasonable statement. But I believe many people misunderstand Christ's teachings. A clue can be found in Matthew chapter 11, 28, 30. Jesus says, "Come to me, all who labor and heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." Humans are easily weary of sin. Or even Christians who have become exhausted by Christianity invented by humans. To such people, Christ invites to rest. I think no one wants to learn from somebody who is arrogant, boastful, insists they're right, you're wrong. Sometimes I meet such a people. I'm right, you're wrong, so I can teach you. Nobody wants to learn from such a people. That's why Jesus says, "I am gentle and humble." We can approach him. We can approach him. We can tell him, "Please teach us. Please teach us." So he invites us to take my yoke upon you, learn from me, urging us to connect with Christ. As I mentioned briefly earlier, Christians who have been taught that salvation comes not from works, but from God's grace, may again have a question. I was taught salvation comes from grace, not works. So why should I need to do something to receive peace from God? But there is a condition for us to find rest from Christ. Christ says we must take Christ's yoke upon ourselves and learn from him. That is, to live spiritually with Christ, to continue learning from him how to live throughout our life journey. Imagine you cannot swim, or you are drowning in the sea. A swim ring is thrown to you. What should you do? You need to grab. You must hold on tightly to the ring. If you hold on tightly, you will be pulled up, lifted up. Same is true for those spiritually drowning in sin. To be lifted up from sin, we need to hold on the ring Christ throws to us. We need to learn from him, imitate him, pray to him, be firmly connected with him. How can we call ourselves Christians if we are not firmly connected with him? Bearing the yoke of Christ, living with him, we can find rest for our souls. We learn from him, imitate him, pray to him daily. Then miracles happen. Something will change every day. Something will change every day. I will become new person. That's a miracle. I think that's a miracle. I mean, I think about myself 20 years ago. I cannot think. I cannot imagine, how could I change like me right now? It's impossible without following Christ. This spiritual change does not diminish with age. In fact, we keep on growing. We keep on growing as we strive to follow Him. There's no stop sign in Christian growth. Every day, something you will find. Every day. Christianity is a lifestyle for living healthy life. Best way of life. Put it in somewhat extremely, modern medicine has made it possible to freely change one's appearance. It's even possible to look 10 years younger than you are now. However, even then, people still physically decline and face death. Drinking water in moderation is considered anti-aging these days. Many people have recently started drinking more water. It can be considered good health habit. And I found out miracle water is like miracle will happen to you if you drink this water. It's a true story. But everyone ages and everyone gets older and physically decline. If that is the case, wouldn't it be better to spiritually fulfilled, have a spring of nourishment constantly flowing from within? Christ makes it possible. He's only one. Make it possible. So let us bear the yoke of Christ every day. Learn from Him, imitate Him, live life filled with grace. That's the best way of life, I believe. では、賛美